mission. Our mission really is to foster and mobilize creation of an ecosystem. And it's really important to us to connect with employers, to learn from employers about how we best assist you in providing trainees and really providing you a robust pool of candidates that can help your business grow and prosper. The other thing is a lot of what we do is really important to how do we best support Sacramento and the greater Sacramento region, and providing a really diverse cyber workforce. And it isn't just about cybersecurity, but we know that it touches different sectors, as well as, you know, that individuals are not only securing, but they're building, maintaining, and working on those systems. So next slide, please, Gabrielle. So there it is. So, you know, put together a little bit of information. So when we look at cybersecurity job postings, they've grown by 94% since 2013. And we know that number, the more we're dependent upon the internet and using either, you know, different types of digital assets, we're storing our data in the cloud. It's really important that we have the skilled workforce to support those different industries. And look at that, cybersecurity accounts for 13% of all IT positions. And so when we look at that, you know, the 10th fastest growing occupations over the next decade. So it's really an exciting time for individuals who want to, you know, start to venture out and starting a new career in IT and cybersecurity in particular. So again, we're really happy to have the employers here to share some of their insights. Gabrielle, the next slide. So what we've done is here, this is just a really a short list of different, you know, job openings. You know, you see where the state of California actually is one of the larger employers, as well as we see it cuts across different industries, like I'd mentioned, banking, for instance, Intel, UC Davis, and our healthcare systems. And so this is just some information, and we're going to be sharing this out with the candidates. I'm sure you're going to be getting a lot more information from the employers here as they share different information about opportunities at their organizations. So we'll go to the next slide. And this again kind of shows the progression, the employment progression, and some of the you know, the number of job postings and sort of who's hiring now. So, and looking at California, look at that, 55,000 openings right now. So these are really great numbers, again, for somebody interested in starting a career. We'll go to the next slide. I want to talk a little bit about how we best support our candidates. And so we have launched our it's an ecosystem, and it's where we brought our partners together to really help support our candidates, and we call it CLIDE, the Cyber Learning Interactive Digital Ecosystem. It provides career readiness, but it also provides the really very important industry recognized certification. Again, we've mentioned the apprenticeship program, but a lot of those resources are now, you know, are stored and accessible over our ecosystem, and we utilize a lot of our different partners to really help bolster that access and making it as seamless as possible for all of our candidates to access you know, the resources that they need. Everything from the training to preparation, you know, exam preparation, as well as other supplemental services that include a lot of those career readiness you know, services. So, and this is just a part of it, is the job placement. Gabrielle, you can go on to the next one if you want. And so we're going to talk a little bit about our candidates. So just as of October, when we launched, we've actually had 70 trainees enrolled with CyberProud, and 35 of them had actually gone through a pre-apprenticeship program that consisted of 320 hours of training. We were very grateful to have Woz Enterprise as our partner in providing that training. We shifted to providing more of a web-based program, and to providing supplemental services to them, where our current candidates are pursuing Network Plus, an A+ certification or even a Security+ certification. And so what we do is we really try to assess each of the candidates and place them where their current capabilities are really matched with where they can be most successful in pursuing and completing that certification. Our ultimate goal is for them to obtain that industry certification as well as employment. So that's really our measure of success. See some of the demographics to the right. And so, many of ours are very representative of Sacramento, as well as the age. They average around the age 30 years old. Many of them have some computer or some college education, as well as, they are continuing on with their education while they're working on their certification as well. And again, many of them have very diverse work experiences. And, and we are always trying to recruit women into our programs. We see that for us, we have 25% of our enrollees are women, which is actually great numbers for the IT and cybersecurity sector. So these are some just really great, success stories behind each one of these numbers and the people who have joined our Cyber Proud family, and we're just really excited to have employers here to share some opportunities with them today. So thank you. And what we're going to do is we're going to be moving on. And here's just a great representation of the skills that these individuals have pursued and obtained, and as well as some really great photos of a good portion of them. So anyway, with that, we're going to go on to our first employer before we go on to our breakout sessions. So what I'd like to do is turn things over to Omnistruct. Thank you, George. I see you're here to share some information. And so Gabrielle should have provided you sharing capabilities. So if you have any slides or any information that you want to share, you're more than welcome.
I do, and I will try to be as brief as possible. I always end up having too many slides for the time allotted, and I understand I have 10 minutes. So I'm gonna ask Torino, who's a good friend of mine, to keep me honest. Torino, you can raise your hand or say something if I get a little bit. I
will do my best, George.
Okay, thank you, Torino. All right, so first thing I'm gonna be doing here is sharing my screen and starting the presentation mode. So I want to make sure, can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so hopefully this will be short and sweet. And if anyone has any questions, just throw them into chat. But first, let's start out. So a little bit about me. So everyone knows who I am. Well, first off, I am, and I apologize, I don't have it listed, but I am one of the mentors in the Cyber Proud program. So some of you have met me before. That may go without saying. And I've done quite a bit of my career. I started in the trenches, doing internet backbone stuff. So like building the fundamental architecture of the internet itself. So I know quite a bit about how the internet works. But ultimately, I've owned and operated a number of businesses. And here in the Sacramento area is where our organization Omnistruct is headquartered. So hopefully you had a chance to read the rest, but just a little bit about me. One of the things that I'm most proud of course, are my wonderful kids, and I'm married to a lovely wife. I'm very blessed, and so I'm thankful for that. What do I do to kind of get my frustrations out? Well, I'm a blacksmith. So if you know anything about blacksmiths, you have to take heavy hammers and hit steel on an anvil. That's a great way to vent. So that's what I do, and so that's a lot of fun too. So if you're ever at the Pioneer Village in Folsom, that's where I'm a blacksmith third Sunday. You should come on by and I'll make something for you. So I'm going to start with an idea, and I'm going to quote one of the co-creators of the internet. His name is Dr. Vint Cerf. He actually happens to be a friend of mine, as well as been one of my mentors for the last 15 years. He says, in terms of safety and security of the internet, he has to argue that we're not in a very good place right now. That was last year in June. Think about that. The person one of the two scientists, the two co-creators of the internet, for one of them to say something like this means that there are a lot of challenges ahead of us. So to hear them speak in this way, I think is a concern for everyone. So to set the mood, I want to make sure that I got that message across, that obviously there are flags being raised that cybersecurity and cyber risk and protecting data is a pretty important thing right now. So we're going to start also to talk about our organization. We have a really simple vision. So, and that is to keep sensitive data sacred. Everything we do revolves around that concept. So we have our own way of doing it, and that's by preparing businesses for when compliance matters, and specifically compliance being cyber compliance. So for years and years and years, we've been playing what I call fighting the ground war of cybersecurity, where we're in the trenches, configuring firewalls and all the things that you're learning about. Those are absolutely necessary. But what's happening now is that hackers are still getting in. And so organizations need to be more attentive from what we call the air part, or the kind of the, we call it the air war. And so executives need to be aware of that. And so our mission is to, so how we do this is we kind of are the air strategy for companies as an outsourced option, selling governance as a service, cyber compliance solutions and escalations for businesses as well as managed service providers, so which are IT providers. What's our why? Pretty simple. For years as a backbone engineer, the internet creators were always saying how it was important to keep the internet secure, but to keep it neutral and free and available. So when business users and end users go on the internet, it's the wild, wild west, right? And of course, that's kind of where hackers carved out their path. So my story is pretty simple, which is that I always knew that, but it took something very personal in my life to find my purpose of Omnistruct. And that was when I had to care for a family member who fell ill, and I had to be their medical power of attorney. I was handling all the privacy records. And I noticed that nobody was following the rules. Fast forward a number of years later, sadly, that family member passed away. And I was going through the same exercises that I'd gone through when they first fell ill, and I noticed nothing had changed. And that was my why for Omnistruct. I knew we needed to find a better way to help businesses do a better job of protecting data and keeping sensitive data sacred. So our culture revolves around that concept of integrity, that everything we do is for the good and to make sure that sensitive data is sacred. We don't like shortcuts, and we tell our customers so. So the origin of our problem is pretty simple. All the things you're supposed to be doing in security that you hope even your mom and your dad are doing, or a grandpa or a grandma, you're hoping that they are putting on their seatbelt for security, but not everybody does, nor do they know how to. So it's almost like we need an airbag that automatically deploys when a hacker succeeds. And so our concept here is that, and what our business does is we help leaders kind of establish that cyber risk airbag, which is to actually deal with their operations and do the security things that you're being trained to do appropriately, and reduce their risk. Why? Because the digital deviants are still finding a way in, right? They're very advanced, and I'm sure you're learning about that. And we will always need protectors and people detecting and monitoring. Guys like Torino and what he does for his customers, he's a managed service provider, and they do a great job of kind of that ground war. But ultimately, the big cyber problem is right here, and our business focuses on this executive comfort level. All these executives out there think security, that everybody's doing a great job, but the staff and the IT teams don't think so much. And this was the research that was done by ISACA, and it's an eye-opening piece of information. So we're there to help those executives understand why we need to do a better job. And we believe also that everyone should prepare for when. Thank goodness there was a Small Business Cybersecurity Act of 2018. So the government basically finally is kind of coming to the rescue. And there's this organization called NIST, which is the National Institute of Standards and Technology. And they have basically come up with a blueprint for how the US should handle cyber risk, privacy, and security. And that Small Business Act was one of those movements. So I mentioned government to the rescue. An attorney said in 2018 when this started, hey, there's a much improved chance of more quickly dispatching litigation, or basically people suing, if you use NIST CSF. So guess what? All the businesses are moving towards it to some degree. And so that's where our business comes from, or all these businesses and business leaders, their attorneys are telling them, maybe you should head in this direction. So we help them do that. So what are we hiring for today? We're hiring for a sales engineer and a sales executive. We will have another posting for a technical security analyst for what essentially is a GRC, or governance and regulatory compliance platform, and handling operations. That'll be posting sometime in Q4, and we expect to be hiring 3 additional resources towards the end of next quarter as well. So I think I kept it under 10 minutes. If I went long, I didn't see Torino raise his hand or throw a tomato at me. Thank you, Torino, for keeping me honest. And I'll turn it over to, I don't know if you wanted to do questions and answers. I don't know, what was the format on that? Sorry, Colleen, because I'm done.
Oh, thanks, George. We're actually going to hold our Q&A until the end. So thank you very, very much.
All right, I guess that's the cue for me to move on. Colleen, is that correct? I come in second.
Yep, our next employer to present is Group 1 Consulting.
All right, thanks, George and Colleen. This is a pleasure for us to be here. We don't have formal company slides like George does. It's actually a work in process, so we will have one hopefully on the next one. But just to tell you a little bit more about Group 1 Consulting, as George mentioned earlier, we are a managed service provider in town. We are located over in Folsom. Myself and my business partner, Chris Wickman. So he is in charge of the technology. I am in charge of the finance and operation. Unfortunately, Chris is on his way back from Canada onboarding a client out there. So we have been ranked as 3 or 4 years in a row right now as the top fastest 50 growing companies in Sacramento. And we were recently ranked as well as in the top MSP 501 in the world, the 65 fastest growing company. So we are very fortunate, and none of this would have happened if it is without, a great team of engineers that we have on board with us. So we are a small company. We have about 30 employees, and recently we brought in our IT manager, Rick, who is here with us. And I suppose I'm trying to look for our COO. He should be here as well, but perhaps he is caught in a meeting right now. So just to tell you a little bit more about Group 1 Consulting and the services that we are offering. And you can access that in our website as well, but I'm just going to go through some of the services that we're offering. George is more focused, Omnistruct is more focused on cybersecurity side. As he has mentioned earlier, we are on managed service provider. And what that means is that we take on the IT network infrastructure for our clients. So lack of better words, we are the outsourced IT department for a lot of our small, mid to large size companies. And with that, we manage their workstations. We take care of their network infrastructure support, their servers. We take care of their switches, firewalls, as well as the VoIP. And we also offer consulting side of the business where we come in and we work together with the companies and take a look at their whole infrastructures. And then we provide a VCIO services to our clients, as well as helping them to do their budget, helping them and plan. So it's a critical component of the service. And then we also have a data center and cloud services that we provide to our clients as well. In all of that, we do offer what our cybersecurity products. So we take care of all their fundamental to make sure that you don't have any holes, any breaches, minimizing all of that. I would never come out and say to our clients that we will guarantee anything because, there's no such thing as guaranteeing that you're not going to get hit anyway. You read in the news today, every day, somehow, somewhere, someone is going to get hacked, right? So, and then on top of that, our main goal, our main visions, it's just one thing, is to provide a quiet IT environment for all of our clients. And how we do that is to make sure that we get the right team members in the company. It's critical that everyone works together. It's critical that anyone that joins Group 1 is culturally fit, in the company. And the current positions opening that we have right now is, and Sean just joined, so Sean and Rick can help me out with that. The current positions that we are offering right now within the company is our level 1, level 2, as well as project engineers. So did I say that correctly, Sean and Rick?
Correct. Yes.
Okay. So, with that, it's in summary, I like to keep it short, and I'm sure I'll be seeing a lot of you out in our break room, and we hope to answer more questions when you have one.
Thank you so much, Torino. I appreciate appreciate you participating. It sounds like some wonderful opportunities.
Yes.
Thank you, Sean, for joining as well. So we're going to go on to our next employer, which is the Sacramento Municipal Utility District, better known as SMUD.
Hello, everyone. I am AJ Jacobs. I'm the Chief Information Security Officer at SMUD, and I am going to attempt to share a slide deck with you.
Thank you.
Is
Perfect. Thank you.
that coming through?
It is.
Okay. Great. So I just introduced myself. I actually joined SMUD about 3 years ago from the world of consulting. I used to work for Booz Allen Hamilton. I spent 20 years there. I spent 20 years, not at Booz, but I spent 20 years in the capacity of working cross-function within the US government and in private industry, doing at that time what we called information assurance. Many people still believe in that capability and offering, but also information security, cybersecurity engineering, governance, risk management, policy, and compliance. At SMUD, I have a team that's comprised of 2 parts. I have an operations side of the house, which is my first line of defense, and then my second line, which is my governance, risk, and compliance area. And today I have with me 2 of my team members who are going to introduce themselves to you as well.
I guess I'll go first since I'm on top. Hi, everybody. I'm Jonathan Narandi. I'm a cybersecurity engineer at SMUD. I have around 12 years experience in cybersecurity, starting in the US Navy. After that, I've worked for government, local, state, federal, and most recently at Power School before SMUD. I guess the one thing I want to say, because I like to give one tidbit, if I can share something, I want to share a tool. Basically, when I used to use something called cybrary.it, but it's no longer free. So in case you aren't aware, I highly recommend tryhackme.com. It's a free service that allows you to go in there and try to attack things with labs and all that sort of thing. So if you're looking for a good resource to brush up on pen test skills and that sort of thing, that's a really good resource. But yeah, that's just a quick introduction of me, and I'll pass it off to Laura.
All right, thanks, John. So I am Laura Cummings. I am a cybersecurity engineer that is in SMUD's Security Operations Center. So we are the first line responders to any sort of security incident that happens at SMUD. Before getting into the tech industry, I actually worked for 5 years in the publishing industry. So I love programs like CyberProud because it helps people who come from, a completely different background get into tech and get into cybersecurity. So very excited to be here tonight to talk to everyone. I graduated from California State University, Sacramento with a degree in Management Information Systems. I've just recently graduated about 2 years ago, and since then have been working at SMUD. So that's a bit about me. And to add on to John's awesome advice, I would highly recommend that you check out some of the contests that are held at conferences. They're called CTFs, Capture the Flag. So you guys may have heard of them. They're really fun. They really encourage a lot of students and people who are just learning to join in on these things. So if you go to conferences like B-Sides or really any of the security conferences, and right now a lot of them are free because they're online, you can find a team, join up, and just spend an afternoon trying to either attack a server and break into it or defend a server and keep attackers out. So great way to get some real life experience and apply those skills that you learn at Try Hack Me.
Awesome. Thanks, Jonathan and Laura. And what I plan to do here is, this is a pretty general deck, but I'm going to scroll through things that I think would be most important to you. But I also failed to tell you about some exciting things about my past as well. So I used to work in the government for a lot of the intelligence communities, spent some time with the FBI. And I also have a master's in cybersecurity as well. So it's been really fun coming into the utility and helping support the mission to protect one of the sectors of critical infrastructure. And it's just been really exciting. And I think I will jump into my agenda here. SMUD and why cybersecurity. I think we've already done that in our introductions. Why work at SMUD, career frequently asked questions, and internships and scholarships, and question and answers. So pop quiz, I'll go through these answers myself with you since we're not doing the Q&A aspect of it. But SMUD employs approximately 2,278 employees. The average salary is around 104K, but I will tell you the cyber salaries ranges actually start around 101 and go up to near 171,000. So the where you can apply for SMUD, pretty self-explanatory, smud.org. We're not a .com, but we are a .org. So that's where you will find our job postings. Why work at SMUD? In 2019, we were America's best mid-sized employer. We have a work from home, flexible hours option. Most, and if not all of my team is actually working remote. And we plan to continue to have that remote work even beyond. We had it in place before the pandemic, and we plan to continue it that way even after the pandemic. We'll offer leave 2 to 3 weeks a year. Sick leave is separate, and paid holidays. And we also have a great tuition reimbursement program. And one of the areas that I like to focus on within my department is ensure that my team has accessibility to go to conferences and also attend as much training as possible to keep our skills fresh and relevant as we grow as cybersecurity professionals. So I will tell you, some folks on my team have done up to 5 trainings a year, paid for by me. Employee resource groups. At SMUD, we have a very diverse group of individuals that work there. And within the organization, we have employee resource groups that range from the Black ERG to Grain, Luna, military, and parent, pride, and women. I am a senior leadership sponsor for the Pride ERG and also the Luna ERG, and I'm an active member on the military ERG as I was in the Marine Corps for some time there. Going forward, jobs that we actually have currently in the hopper that we're advertising for at SMUD is a cybersecurity policy specialist. We also have a cyber risk specialist, and we have a cyber compliance and privacy specialist. One that's not listed on here is we also have an opening for identity and access management professional on the development side. And again, those salaries for those jobs start at 101K to approximately 171K, being the highest level of expertise in that area. And where can you learn more about those jobs is you can go to smud.org and type in careers, and a description of those jobs will pop up for us. Interesting fact here is we are the nation's 6th largest community-owned not-for-profit electric service, and we provide over 1.5 million people with reliable, safe, and environmentally responsible electric and affordable rates. The cybersecurity team plays a tremendous role in that, as we have to work to ensure SMUD is compliant with regulatory compliance from a cybersecurity standpoint, and also to manage the risk of the threats to the grid as well as back office IT type environment as well. I'm going to skip over to frequently asked questions, and I'll say that for our session. If you come and sit with us, we'll go over some of those frequently asked questions. But I also wanted to note that SMUD also has an internship program. We have a summer internship program, and we have a STEM student internship program. The STEM internship program runs all year. It's a paid internship. As long as you are enrolled in school and you're eligible to be on that program, you can be a STEM student in our cybersecurity program working with us. The summer one obviously is posted and advertised yearly, And the posting for this one be January 1st through the 31st of 2022. Again, you can go to smud.org to find that information out. Also, just so you know, SMUD also offers scholarships. And you know, the scholarships go up to totaling of $60,000 each year, as many as 21 to local Sacramento students. An individual receives up to $5K in scholarships. Eligibility requirements are there on the slide. And a SMUD customer living in SMUD service area or have a SMUD customer as a legal guardian is required. I'm pretty certain that is a detail that you are interested in. And with that said, I am going to save this Q&A session to our breakout session. So thank you, and I encourage you to reach out to us and apply for some of our jobs if you think that you're qualified, and we're looking actively. Cheers.
Thank you, AJ. That was just wonderful information. I know as I'm watching the chat, there's lots of comments. Very, very excited individuals want to hear more, I can tell. So we're going to go on to our next employer, which is Beacon Hill Staffing. And I'm hoping that they're here. So we may just jump ahead to, is Michael Reese here with Foundit Data? I thought I saw him earlier. I apologize for the delay, everyone. I'm going through the list here now. So, you know what? I'm going to jump ahead to Accenture. We do have someone here from Accenture.
Hey, Colin, how are you?
Great. Thank you. I'm going to run it out of order a little bit, but that's okay.
No, that should be fine.
Thank you.
Already, I'm gonna share my screen. I have a small presentation and we can cover most of the questions during the Q&A. Already, can you guys see my presentation?
Yes, we can. Thank you.
Already. Okay, guys, thanks for, Colin and CyberProud, thanks for inviting us. Really happy to be here. So I'll be representing Accenture. A quick introduction. My name is Pushkar Purohit. I'm a Sacramento based, and I've been part of the community for last 10 years. I've been part of large and medium projects at State of California through Accenture. So it has been a wonderful experience. I moved here from Chicago, so we have settled down here. So it has been a great last 10 years at Sacramento. So from an Accenture point of view, I'll quickly run through some of the slides to give a high-level overview of Accenture. So basically, we are a global consulting technology operations and interactive company. So we are nearly 600,000 people working across 120 countries in multiple areas. So for most of the technologies that are out there, we run an industrial program where we have large scale assets as well as skills that we bring to our clients, try to get them, try to implement their major functions or processes from an technology consulting or operations point of view. So again, pitch for Accenture is we are a large company, 500,000 plus. I think we are currently will most likely reach to 600K by end of this year. From a learning and development point of view, we have multiple opportunities for learning to grow and learn, track for different industries, technologies. There are multiple with pandemic, the remote learning has become a key for everybody. So we have lot of connected learnings or virtual learnings that are there. And it is not just attending the webinar. We try to create a experience for most of our learners, and try to innovate how a person can learn by bringing in cutting edge technologies as such. Mentorship and networking is one of the key areas in Accenture. Every senior leader is expected to mentor or coach the juniors so that their experience and knowledge is passed on to those folks, and they are able to be, and they also get an experience to deal or work with the client. Inclusion and diversity. So again, this is a very key aspect for Accenture. We are basically committed to create a culture where everybody has an equal voice and they are able to build their career at Accenture. From innovation point of view, as I said, there are almost all large technologies, most of the technologies which are out there. We have been doing work in it. We are delivering in it, and we are also for most of them, either we are in a number one or number two, in a number one spot for most of the technologies, with key partnership, and we have key partnership and premier alliances with all the major technologies as such. And from a corporate citizenship point of view, we give to the local community, as well as we strive for, it's not all work. The team also volunteers on their days off for local non-profit orgs and other community services as they can. So from an experience and skills, the things that you can gain from Accenture is you get a good work experience, multiple technologies, you have big projects that will allow you to learn across multiple areas in the life cycle of the project. You will have a great internship experience where there is a whole slew of training that is available for the interns, and then they get hands-on experience in projects with lot of mentoring and coaching from the project teams. Leadership experience, we try to coach our people so that they can get to their next level of career as a leaders or as a managers within their domain as they make progress. The company's goal is to maintain work-life balance. So it's not all about work. So we try to make sure that there is enough work-life balance for the people as such. And then every big project that we have, it is a mix of consulting as well as consulting, system integration, and operations. So you will get a grasp of how Accenture delivers in a large scale project as well as a consulting mindset. And then, as we said, if there are any extracurricular activities that a person is planning to do, the firm will support that. So from a skills point of view, we are looking for somebody who has a growth mindset, who is innovative in their approach of delivering, who carries a positive attitude, works in a team, is very collaborative, reliable, adaptive, flexible, has a sound decision-making ability. If they have experience in Oracle, Workday, Salesforce, that would be they would have a great opportunity at Accenture. And then the other key technology is security, like what we discussed. I see most of the profiles here are very security focused. So it was really nice to see that those set of skills being skills at this meet and greet. The three areas of opportunities are apprenticeship, entry-level hire, and experience hire. So for the apprenticeship, we are looking at a non-traditional way. If you have been part of military or have a military career path, 2 years degree, or if you are willing to be able to learn on job, and have passion for technology. So we have apprenticeship programs. Entry-level hires are where a person has a 4-year college degree, is a recent graduate, and has any relevant experience within his college or as part of or as externally as part of as an intern at any of the firms. And I mean, the key again is passion for technology. And for experienced hire, we are looking at some experience, graduated at least 2 years ago, so around 2 years of experience, and then passion for technology. Again, the key areas we are looking for is if you have some experience in Oracle, Salesforce, and Workday, those are the opportunities we see here in Sacramento. So those are the skill sets that we are looking. So from a next step point of view, if you go to careers.accenture.com, you will be able to find careers across United States, actually across the globe. If you plan to fly out somewhere, so you'll find careers across the globe. You can pick up the careers, you can pick up the specific job profiles and try to apply for that. So I would highly recommend search for the jobs, and if you're interested, apply for those jobs. Other option is you can send your profile to Josh, who was supposed to be covering this, but he was not able to make since he got into a client conflict. So if you can send your resumes to Josh, and then we'll take it forward from there. So we have a lot of slides on how Accenture does business. How we support inclusion and diversity, and what are the employee resource groups that we have. Again, being a global company, we do support a lot of activities for inclusion and diversity. So I'll not run through the slides. If anybody is interested, I can send the whole deck and you can take a look at it and ask. I can cover any questions during Q&A. That's it from me, Colin. So unless there are any questions, I'll see the teams in their breakouts.
Thank you so much, Tushar. That was just amazing information from Accenture. And I'm sure that you'll get some questions and during the breakouts, some specific things for different opportunities. So anyway, thank you so much. Our next presenter is, we do have a representative from Beacon Hill that I've seen here. I think his name is Gulen. So again, I think we do have a representative here from Beacon Hill, who I am looking for now. All right, well, you know what we're going to do is, I know that Denise Sullivan is here with Woz Enterprises, so I'm just going to turn it over to her. Denise, are you ready to go?
Yeah, perfect. Thanks so much.
You're welcome.
All right. So yeah, thank you, Colleen. I appreciate you setting this all up. It's great to talk with businesses as well as candidates that are looking for work. So my name is Denise Sullivan. I am a director of strategic partnerships with Woz Enterprise. Woz is Steve Wozniak's technical talent development company. We work with organizations that are looking to source, train, and hire folks into their organizations. So let me go ahead. I'm going to share my screen too, so I can just got a few slides there. Are you guys seeing the full screen or smaller screen? Full screen? Got it. Okay, thanks. So yeah, so a little bit, people know Woz, co-founder of Apple. He's very obviously technology, but certainly education is a passion of his, and lifelong education. It's not just in school, it's how you continue on throughout your life and throughout your career. And so what happens is we really specialize in creating pipelines of talent for the businesses that we partner and work with. Well, what that does is that creates an opportunity for people to find alternative ways to get their foot in the door. What happens is there's a lot of companies out there that are looking to hire technical talent, and they have their experienced hires and they've got their university and internship programs. It was nice to hear a little bit about you, Laura, your experience, at SMUD. And then of course, apprenticeship programs like Accenture is running. These are fantastic ways for somebody who's just starting out in their career to get into an organization and start learning and moving up. But what happens is a lot of times is that students will go out and they'll get their education, whether it's a 4-year university or if it's a 2-year or through a boot camp. A lot of people were not afforded the opportunity to get that traditional 4-year education. Some of them had families, some of them couldn't afford it, some of them had, all different types of reasons, right? But then they come around and they say, hey, you know what? I'm smart enough, I'm good enough, and doggone it, people like me, I can't say it without doing that. But you know what? I want to get into this and I'm not too old for it. I can do this, I can make this happen. So what happens is those types of folks go out and look for those learning opportunities. But what we find is, we keep hearing all these companies want to hire people with tech, we need more tech people. But what happens is, if you're the person looking for the job, it can be very frustrating because they're going to look at you and say, but you don't have the degree or you don't have the experience. And so sometimes it's hard to get in, get your foot in the door. And that's why folks like, I'll plug you guys, Accenture doing, apprenticeship programs and SMUD doing internship programs. These are fantastic ways for people in their early career. Doesn't matter how old you are, if you're early to the actual career itself, to get these types of opportunities. So what happens is we work with organizations, we reversed engineered it, if you will. So a lot of times people will go to the classes and then they're trying to look for the job. What we've done is we start with the organizations and say, okay, what are you looking to hire for? What does your pipeline look like? What type of early career support do you need? What does the profile of that candidate look like? Where do they have to live? What kind of skills do you need them to have? So we work directly with the companies to find out what they're looking for. Then what we do is we align kind of that programming for them. And we've done this also with Cyber Proud. I'm proud to say thank you. But what we do is we align that, that content and that curriculum with that employer, so that then when we go out and source candidates, we're saying, hey, look, we have a job opportunity. There's a light at the end of the tunnel. We want to put you through a training program, and then we want you to sit and interview for this client that is looking to hire you. And so that's really the process that we go through. And you can read this. And like I said, I'm happy to send that out to you. But what happens is, again, it's looking for that candidate. It's getting them into a training program that's aligned to a particular job role, and not only a job role, but a job opportunity. So that's really what triggers us to start one of our training programs is the job opportunity. This is an example of some of those job opportunities. Actually, you know what? I'm sorry if I'm jumping ahead real quick. I did want to mention a couple other things about this before I move on. One of the things that we've done is we've really tried to specialize in that non-traditional candidate, right? That one that maybe didn't have the opportunity to get that 4-year degree, but has that aptitude and the attitude. But what happens is companies, as well as the individuals, they want to gain parity with that 4-year degree person, for example. There's a lot of companies out there that are offering, tuition reimbursement programs. And so what happens is being able to make our programs, we've articulated our programs with different universities so that that student, that person that's going through the 8-week or possibly even the apprenticeship program, if that's the way that they're going to get hired, they're going to be getting college credits for free. So now what happens is you can get the training, you're getting the job interview. If all goes well, thumbs up on both sides, you're getting that job, and you're also getting college credits. Regardless, you're getting college credits so that, you know, you're not in debt trying to figure out and finish up that degree. So really kind of a full circle way to find people, get them trained, get them placed at a job, and get them moving on their career if they don't already have one. And like I was saying, these are the different technology trainings that we've done. And we've done some of these in partnership with CyberProud, for example. So what happens is, like I said, when we start out, we're looking for the client that wants to do the hiring. And these are the types of programs that we put together hand in hand with the client to make sure that when we find that person and train them, they're going to be ready for that, you know, early career and to get started. Some of our clients want to hire direct hire, and some of them want to direct hire as an apprentice. An apprenticeship obviously is giving you some more learning. It's more of a structured learning that you're going to continue to do. There's also mentorship. So really what happens is, depending on what the client's looking for and what kind of a hiring experience they're looking to do, that's what we do. And we go out and look for candidates that map towards that. So what happens is, if you are looking for an opportunity, now I know some of you have gone through CyberProud programs, that's fantastic. If you are looking for more training, and if there's a possibility that one of the job opportunities that we have align with what you're looking for, then check us out. This is our website. You can take a look at it. Again, when we go to look for candidates, the driver is really the hiring company. Like I said, they'll tell us, you know, hey, look, we're looking for X amount of people. They have to either locate or relocate to one of these areas. Here's the salary. You know, I've had companies that say we want military, or we want veterans, or we want people from underserved communities. Or, you know, I had one company that wanted to find folks that were aging out of the foster care program. So what you're finding is that companies are looking for all different types of diversity to come into their organization. But they're the ones that kind of drive the boat on what we're looking for, as far as, are you looking for a software developer, or are you looking for cybersecurity? Are you looking for infrastructure support or IT support? So those are kind of the job roles that you would be seeing up on our website for those hiring clients. And then they also tell us, you know, what kind of, you know, do they have to have a degree or non-degree? Do they have, like I said, be willing to relocate, or what some of those backgrounds are? So I encourage you to take a look at the different opportunities that we have up on our website. So for the individuals that are on this conversation, feel free to check that out, or we can chat in one of the breakout rooms. And if you're any of these companies that are interested in embracing this type of a hiring process, you know, love to chat with you guys as well. So that's it for me. Thank you so much. And I'll see some of you guys in the breakout room.
Thank you so much, Denise. I really appreciate all the information. And you're right, we do have some candidates here who had gone through the pre-apprenticeship program in the fall. And so, you know, I think they're really excited to get on with their, you know, with the next steps of their career. So, what I'd like to do is we have a couple that we're trying to track down. Beacon Hill Staffing, we did have the representative come into the event and has since left, and so we're trying to figure out if they had some technical difficulty, as well as another organization, Founded Data. They were also in and have are no longer an event. We always assume there's some, you know, technical difficulty. We love technology, and the internet is not always as predictable as we wish it would be. So what I'd like to do is I'm going to ask Gabrielle to put a couple of slides back up on the screen for us so that we can kind of discuss what's going to happen in the breakout sessions and how the candidates can best participate. So what you're going to see is the list of participants. So you are going to be able to select from number 1, Group 1 Consulting, number 2, SMUD, number 5, Accenture, and number 6, Woz Enterprises. And this, what I'd like the candidates to do is to pick, please pick your 3 top employers that you would like to meet with and have sort of a one-on-one session in the breakouts. So what we would like you to do is to put that information into the chat as soon as possible. Oh, and what we'd like to do, yes, exactly. Thank you, Jonathan. I see you put your number in there. So you've got, so you'll see what we'd like you to do is, so for instance, put a 1, 2, and 5, something like that. And what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and make those matches for you. Gabrielle, can you move to the next slide if you don't mind? Thank you very much. So after you pick those 3, what we're going to do, staff here, we're going to work a little bit, and we're going to make our best effort to match you up with all of your choices, with your 3 choices. Now, they may not be in the exact order that you've given us, because again, we're trying to accommodate everybody so that you get a chance to have your own personal one-on-one with them. What's going to happen is you are going to stay in the main session room during that time, and we will notify you at the time when we start moving individuals into those breakout rooms. At the time when the first session occurs, what we're going to do is we're going to move the representatives from each of those organizations into their appropriate breakout room as well, prior to the candidates arriving. Based upon sort of the number of candidates that we have here today, as well as the number of employers we have, I think what we're going to do is allot up to 5 minutes per one-on-one discussion. What will happen is in that room, you'll be notified within a minute of what, the time that you have left, and then we will move you back into we will move those candidates back into the main session. The employers will remain in their breakout room, and then we will follow with the next candidate to move into the breakout room. Here are topics of discussion. May include, again, questions about different career opportunities, what training, skills, or experience that those employers are looking for, and be prepared to ask some very specific questions about what you've heard today. And use your time, use your time to the best time for both of you. If you are not in those rare occasions where you may not be able to meet with all 3 of your selections today, what I would suggest is we're gonna follow up at the end with a Q&A. So you'll have an opportunity then to put those questions into the chat for the final 15 minutes of the event. Are there any questions? So Gabrielle, we'll go back and turn the slides off now, and we'll kind of go. So what I'd like to do is I want to turn this over to Nathan Barnes, who is our instructional coach for CyberProud, and he's going to talk a little bit about the work that he's been doing with the candidates and preparing them for their certification exams, and then just make himself available if there's any specific questions about that. Our goal is to have everybody moved into their breakout rooms, I would say no later than 5:15. So I'm going to part here for a quick second and take care of that. So anyway, thank you so much, and feel free to have a conversation. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for coming tonight and taking time out of your day. Really appreciate it. And first off, I'd just like to congratulate Mr. Connor Ryerson for obtaining his Security Plus certification last Friday. So many more to come. Did a great job, Connor. I know that it's not easy. Yeah, a little bit about our training here at CyberProud. So we use, I don't know if too many people are familiar with Kaltura or Curator. but we use two of these platforms to pretty much, we have videos, we have recordings on there. It's very interactive. It's easy for our participants and our learners to go to these sites, look at the recordings, and we have different channels set up, almost as if you have a YouTube channel. And Kaltura, it's used by many, I believe Disney uses them, as well as many other companies. I actually believe the whole public educational system in Canada is starting to get on Kaltura now, which is pretty cool. Just fun little facts. But yeah, so we have these different channels set up, whether they're in the A+ cohort, the Network Plus, the Security Plus. And there's also channels for our career readiness as well. All participants can go to these channels. They can view past recordings. And let's see if I have it up. So some of the recordings that we do have, we try to go over certain skill sets, such as how to, harden down or perform a pen testing against a Windows Active Directory domain, how to sort of look at it, how to sort of get the mindset of, okay, well, what am I looking at here? And again, this is more towards our Security Plus cohort. And I really liked how Jonathan brought up, hey, go to Try and Hack Me. It's a great resource. Great resource. And some of the videos that we have on there, we showcase doing machines on Hack the Box. They have a starting point module, and some of our candidates more on the cybersecurity track, we showcase that pathway. For our other cohorts, we stay in line with the CompTIA objectives, making sure that, if we're in the A+, they can identify and correctly, install certain RAM, right? Look at hard disk, look at, tell me, okay, well, what should I probably use if I want fast read and write speeds for those hard drives? For our Network Plus, again, looking at the objectives, making sure, okay, well, how do I create, a subnet? What's the purpose of a VLAN? Things like this, and get them ready for the exam, and doing plenty of practice questions. I mean, we've probably done thousands of practice questions in preparation for these exams, because at the end of the day, that's our objective. Get them certified and move on, right? Open more doors. So besides that, there's times where I do one-on-one tutoring sessions, and really just like to know each participant. Each participant has a unique life story, and they come from all different backgrounds and different circumstances, and it's really amazing to see. So with that being said, I don't know if there's going to be more time I don't know if Colleen needed more time to get the breakout rooms ready, but I could definitely keep going on. So other stuff we like to do as well is we recently just moved office locations, and at times we'll have some of our sessions will be at the office. We'll have certain participants come in, and I think my screen is on blur right now. Oh, yes. 3 minutes. Okay. Apparently got 3 minutes. Okay. So let me take off the blur background real quick. There we go. So as you can see behind me on my right shoulder, I don't know if anyone kind of remembers the old Apple servers. There's a bunch of other old tech and other things we have too that we like to showcase. And I think it's in the other room, but I have an old, it's back from like the 70s. It's like one of those floppy disk locks to lock in the floppy disk. And it actually comes in the original packaging, and it literally says, prevents viruses. And I like to have, participants come in and see that kind of stuff to kind of really showcase like where we started, right? And where we are at currently right now in the realm of IT. And it's really, it's fascinating. And it's this way we can kind of build this whole concept, this whole idea of, we try to look at the whole, when we talk IT, there's a lot of different realms within IT, just, cybersecurity is a whole different realms. And so it's difficult to wrap your head around all the different parts that are happening, whether we're talking hardware, software, networking, virtualization technologies. Okay, now we're going to get to the cloud. So part of that is kind of demystifying a lot of these concepts. And another part of it too is we like to go over the CompTIA objectives again, as I said, and each objective they have, or for each exam, they have a list of acronyms towards the end that we make sure we cover and that we understand. And those acronyms are really key. And I see some participants shaking their head, and yeah, there's a lot. I think on the A+, it's like 600 or so acronyms, and some we see twice, right, with different meanings and different contexts. But that's the life of being IT. It's just you have to know these acronyms, and we love to go over port numbers, right, guys? you know your ports. It's pretty critical. So here we just kind of covered, you know, we want all the participants got to know how to react or what seems to abnormal based on what sort of activities going on in the network. And that's pretty much my goal as instructors, to kind of, you know, showcase some experience and teach in a way that's constructive. And at times a little, well, I probably should start off with a little bit about myself. I used to be a personal trainer, and then I decided to switch to IT and then cybersecurity. And I think a lot of us can agree cybersecurity can be addicting in a way. So I really just took the bug, and I think some people are getting put into breakout rooms right now. Maybe I'm mistaken. That's what it looks like. Well,
Yeah, we are moving our employers and our first set of candidates into their breakout session. So what's going to happen with the candidates is, keep in mind that we're going to move 4 individuals at a time out of the main session into the breakout rooms with the employers. So we're making our best, our best move of who we can, and based upon your selection. So first, I want to thank everybody for submitting their selections. And so over the course of the next, I would say about 25 minutes, our goal is to give an opportunity for everybody to meet a one-on-one with their employers. So keep in mind that some of you will not be moved into the employer sessions yet, but you will be. So be prepared. About every, like I said, every 4 to 5 minutes, we're going to move a new batch in to meet with those employers, and you'll be prompt with about 1 minute left. And those individuals will then come back into the main session. Any questions about that? Are we all good? How about a thumbs up? Yes? All right. That's what I want to see. All right. Thank you. And Nathan, you can continue on. Thank you very much.
yeah, of course. I was hoping to. So a little bit about myself for those that are remaining here. I used to be a personal trainer, and let me see real quick. I think just all the participants left, right? How you guys doing?
Doing great.
Good.
Hey,
Awesome.
Nathan.
Hey, Tommy. Hey there. Man, look at you, you're all dappered up. Looking good. Looking good. You guys are all looking good. So what have you guys been up to?
Just graduated college.
Oh, wow. That's a small feat. Congrats. UCD, right?
Yep.
Nice.
Congratulations.
Very
Thank
impressive.
you.
What was your major?
I ended up majoring in psychology. Yeah, I finished up actually last week, so it's a huge relief.
So now you're going to develop some really intense social engineering routines.
Hey, who knows? You could probably help me out with that. Then we can get Nathan on it too.
You know, I was actually at a Tesla dealership today, and I asked them, hey, it's okay if I bring my laptop in here because I got to do a business meeting. And I would like an office space, and I would like access to the Wi-Fi. They gave it all to me. Like, I'm not even joking. I literally walked into a dealership, Tesla dealership. I literally asked for an office space. I asked for the Wi-Fi, and I got it.
Did you ask them for like a patch cord to their main server and access to their tables?
I think that would have blown my cover, but yeah. But no, it goes to show. I don't know.
What they will do to make a sale, man. They got to make that money. Bend over backwards.
Yeah. No, I thought it was. I don't know. You probably should have let anyone on a site. They literally give me a small office space. They literally give me the Wi-Fi password. They're like, here.
Is there a laptop support packet injection?
You said. What was that, Tommy?
Yeah, I mean, this is your laptop support packet injection. That could be interesting.
No, I didn't have the right tools with me. I mean, I could have done some stuff, but
just map it.
Well, technically, if I'm already on the network, I mean, I could have scanned it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then now they're gonna have a log of me scanning their system, and that's my personal computer. and now I don't get my Tesla, right?
No, man, you got to set up your VPN to an AWS that's already loaded with Kali, and then through Kali come back to a different VPN back into their system.
Yeah, I like the thought that's going with that. It's just, again, I'm using my own device, right? I don't trust that. Don't trust that at all. I'd rather just, if I'm going to do something like that, well, one, I'm on site. Why are we talking? I'm totally just started the conversation to how to like, to why?
No, this is what's called penetration testing for exchange. So you provide the service in exchange for reduction in car price.
Or you just kick everyone off the Wi-Fi. You enable Wi-Fi deauthorize or give one out.
Just deauth
Don't let
them.
anyone in. Yeah.
I guess you could just deauth them. It's like, I wonder who's doing this. I wonder who's new on the network. Yeah, you could use that's a good point, Dennis. Could just use a throwaway Raspberry Pi. And you could literally just throw it away, and like, as long as you're not caught on camera with the Raspberry. Just giving everyone bad ideas here. You know, you could literally, well, I guess Raspberry Pi would be.
No, you don't need it. You can do it with an SP8266, is it? The little microboard has a Wi-Fi card. You just connect that to a nice little power battery pack. Leave that running for a minute.
Yeah,
I've done it. I'm saying it because I did it, but not to Tesla. But this is very interesting. You can even run things. You can loop the network.
What board is that? The ESP?
SP8266.
Oh, okay, the ESP. Okay, yeah.
yeah, I lost my train of thought.
So like,
Well,
are
did
we
you
gonna?
get the Tesla?
Maybe. Yeah, I know. I forgot what my train of thought. I had really something important I was going to say about that, and then it had something totally to do with like, okay, that's what it was. You guys need to start listening to Darknet Diaries, the podcast.
Already on it.
Okay. Yeah, the rest of you need to start listening to it because it'll get you like in a good mindset. Charles, is that coffee?
Yeah.
Jealous.
So, it's in my Charlie Brown mug.
Yeah, Jonathan, totally. Yeah, Darknet Diaries is just, it's a podcast, and this guy, Ryan Scheidler, I don't know, the guy who makes the podcast, he interviews these guys that, they hack into stuff, right? And there's this one podcast where this guy broke into 3 banks in 3 days. And I'm not talking like from his computer. I'm talking like literally just walking in. And literally, yeah, like it's crazy, right? That's another thing too. Like I literally just walked into Tesla and like I saw computers unattended. I'm wearing the polo. I got, the Cyberproud uniform, so it looks like I'm with the company, right? And then I could just, hey, I gotta do some maintenance. It was crazy because the guy, he was actually getting paid to do that, which is nuts. He was also in Lebanon, which, you probably don't want to go to jail in Lebanon, I'm guessing. So, but it's interesting, I mean, just think about it. What if you showed up in a truck, and on the truck you had a decal showing like the IT repair company that's usually the same IT company that comes out to that small business or whatever. We have the same company shirts, right? You maybe did a quick little, what's it called, open source intelligence on the bank manager or whatever manager to just like, oh yeah, this guy signed off on it. You just walk in, grab a computer, walk out.
That would be interesting altogether.
Yeah, and what's the worst thing that's going to happen? They'd be like, oh, you're not allowed here. What's your name? Do you have proof of this? And be like, yeah, it's in my car. I'll be right back. Go hop in the car, drive away. Yep. Like, and okay, sure, they'll report it. realistically though, is that like on the highest priority of things that need to get investigated? No, unless there's like reported, there's like a string of it. Okay, you know, I'm totally just giving everyone like not good advice right now. What if Colleen and Gabrielle and Janera, they're probably listening to me like, he's teaching them all to be criminals.
It's just reconnaissance. That's all.
And yeah, we can't hear you. I think you said 1 minute.
Yes, we are, Nathan.
Oh God.
T-Mobile just got hacked. You guys hear that?
Which one?
T-Mobile apparently it was hacked. There was a breach. Millions of customer files.
T-Mobile?
Yeah, T-Mobile. Yeah.
Yeah, I was a 21-year-old who did it too. He got like 600 million records or something like that. Or maybe it was 60 million. I don't know.
Wow.
And he literally said the Wi-Fi at T-Mobile is crap. It's like literally like that was his quote. You guys would be surprised. Like we talk about all these concepts like segmentation and, you know, air gaps, you know, having intrusion protection systems, redundancy checks, you know, honeypots. I mean, all these other tools and software and whatever, and you'll be surprised. Oh, even multi-factor authentication. I will not tell you how many businesses don't actually do that. And if they do it, they use multi-factor authentication with their phones, like with text messages, which is pointless.
Yeah.
You want to use tokens and those token authenticators and get those temporary one-time passwords. And you guys should know what TOTP, right, Connor? That's on the exam, isn't it?
Time-based one-time password.
Yep. Perfect.
Hey, Nathan.
Yeah.
Have you heard from the Darknet Diaries? I was listening to the one about Project Raven. The one with, what was it? The United Arab Emirates was hiring security through like an American corporate like shell company. And apparently they were hiring that one.
You know, I don't think I've heard that one on Darknet Diaries, but I feel like I remember hearing this elsewhere.
Yeah, I think it was a really big story, and it was like an NSA guy was recruited by.
This was recent, wasn't it?
It was like 2 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago.
I think maybe I saw something recently that they got sentenced, or they no. They took a plea deal and they got off sentencing because they agreed not to take any like security jobs in the US from now or something like that.
Yeah, that's what it was.
They stole like millions of dollars, didn't they?
I think it was millions of dollars, and also there was reports of the company, the actual UAE company, of spying on American citizens and accessing their devices and stuff.
Yeah, what else is new?
Supposedly. So.
Were the citizens here in the States or in their country?
Both.
If they're in their country, you have no rights.
Well, yeah, but they were also apparently they even were hacking into devices from like people in the UK and the United States, like particular like activists or journalists in the United States and other countries too.
Well, we know what they did to Khashoggi, right? Poor guy. So he can't expect much from that.
They'll probably all get jobs still doing something.
Yeah. I think the guy who actually came out with the story, I think he got hired by a company, and I don't remember. I just read it in the news, and they recently were gonna buy. Was it Zoom? I can't remember what it was. They were going to buy one of a big major company, and there was concerns because the person who was responsible or a member of that whole ordeal he was part of the plea bargain and said that there was no like information being passed back and forth or whatever, but that it was still like, yeah, so there was like concerns or something. I can't remember which it was. I just saw it, but it was like a huge like multi-million-dollar deal, and there was concerns that that person would pass on information to the UAE. It was crazy. That was a crazy episode.
Were you talking about those 3 guys that were ex military and also I think they were like NSA officers that were working for the United Arab Emirates? Is that the one that you're talking
Yes,
about?
that one. Yeah.
All right.
So, yep, that's the one.
Remind me, everyone, that I don't know why I'm asking everyone. Before this day is over, or this meeting, you can tell I've only had 1 cup of coffee today, huh? So before this meeting's over, you guys have 1 minute, by the way. We're gonna have to post. I want you guys to all post your LinkedIn's. I'm gonna ask the employers to post their LinkedIn's as well. So, network. Right. I'm telling you, like every opportunity I recently actually got a job opportunity today as a Splunk security engineer, but I don't have the required certification for it, and I also don't have a security clearance. But I got hit up on LinkedIn, and actually, I was thinking about you today, Ken, because I was wondering if you might have a security clearance right now.
I used to, man. I've been trying to get that back. I used to have a confidential.
Well, I could at least, that's really good. I could at least send the guy your way or send you his way if you're interested. Because
I don't even know how to use Splunk, honestly. I've been trying to take their free training. I think they have a free, but I haven't done it yet. I'm still working on the Network Plus, man.
Yeah.
Well, if you guys are like, I'm hoping, because I know our next cohort, and you guys can do this on your own time too. There's this free, you can do Splunk fundamentals, take their training for free and get certified for free. It's really easy. But consider going to Splunk. Like Splunk certified architects or certified engineers are making like no less than 140.
Yeah, that's what you told me, Nathan. So, and I did the fundamentals one. I finished that.
Yeah.
So
I mean, the fundamentals one's like it looks good still. I mean, you got some Splunk fundamentals. You could kind of use. I mean, not kind of. You can use it. You can interface with it. Like where to solve your answers. But like the ones you have to sit down and take an actual, in-person exam or virtual exam that's proctored. Certifications like that, obviously hold their weight. But those certifications where you could take for free. I mean, like recently I got certified as a Sophos like firewall engineer or whatever. But that wasn't like a proctored one. But it's weird because it depends on the job. It depends what they're looking for. It really depends. Like the new job I'm with currently, they want people that could, install firewalls that are Sophos based, and other jobs look for other things, and it's really quick to. I mean, those certifications you can like, especially since they're not proctored or anything. You can literally knock them out in like a day, maybe 2 days. And honestly, like, I don't know. I think the best way to do it is just actually start getting used to using, like, okay, like you got a job, like, okay, say for instance, I'm pretty sure, okay, so whoever's gonna go talk with SMUD, go mention that you're interested in Splunk, because I'm fairly certain they use Splunk. So just bring
man,
up
you should have
Splunk.
told me. I already went to their room.
yeah, me too. I was like right in there at the beginning. All right, I'll be back.
Sorry, guys. Yeah, just you guys, is everyone going?
Nah, he got taken by the rapture. It looks like.
I had a question. Are we supposed to just jump in the rooms, or are we supposed to wait till we're being added?
I have an email.
You just wait. I really wanted to say, actually, Jonathan, just go ahead and start jumping in rooms, but I know Colin would get mad at me if I say that. Oh my goodness, she's right there.
Run.
Yeah, don't do that. Yeah.
Hello. Hey, so I just wanted to check in. So it's fun because we see that some people are kind of, as the time goes, you're kind of hanging on, which I think is great. You're probably having some good conversations.
In here?
No, well, in here, obviously,
yeah.
we know you're having good
conversation.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
with Nathan.
Need more coffee.
But so I'm curious. I know poor Gabrielle's in there and she's trying to move everybody around. So if you're past your time in a session, it'd be great if you just move yourself back to the main session, and then we can grab you and move you to the next your next slot. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay. Awesome.
Also, I was gonna say, like, when we close everything out,
Mhm.
everyone like leaves their LinkedIn in the chat.
That would be awesome. You know, if you hadn't had a chance, you know, we did do the Meet Our Candidates page on the CyberProud website.
Oh yeah.
And we have most everybody featured on there, but and what we tried to do is put LinkedIn.
Sorry.
Yeah, he wanted to go look.
Yeah, I wanted to go
immediately.
look right now. But yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, so what we tried our best to get everybody's profile, which and link directly to your LinkedIn profile. So gosh, that's a mouthful, I think.
I think it's gonna go great because I mean, like, seriously, like every offer I've had, including today, is LinkedIn.
Yeah.
It's always LinkedIn. And
Really?
yeah.
I had a question because I'm still at work and I'm about to like leave within the next 20 minutes to try to go home to try to continue everything. Am I gonna be kicked out of everything, or what do I need to do?
So, no, good question. So Jonathan, have you talked with an employer yet?
Just one.
Okay, all right. Let me go check and I'll be back. All right.
Yes, ma'am.
Were my headphones that loud you can hear?
No, I can hear it from the other room.
Oh, I was about to say. Yeah, that confused me for a second. Did I confuse anyone else? I was getting confused. I was like, dang. Oh yeah, I was gonna message you back. There you go. Now you're back. Sorry, the message wouldn't go earlier because I guess you were in a breakout room. You didn't want to send it, which is weird. But we can see, I don't know, if we want to do more study sessions, people just have to let me know. It's not like a big deal or anything. You know, definitely do more. I would just recommend, like, my biggest recommendation is, and you should probably just ask Connor what he recommends since he just recently took his. But before he says something, I'm gonna say you gotta do like 3,000 to 4,000 practice questions. All right. Like, no joke. Like, this test, and I felt like this, Connor felt like it too. You're gonna feel like you didn't pass. All right, you're not gonna take this test, and even after 4 or 5, 6,000, 10,000, I don't care how many practice questions you do, you're not gonna take this exam and you're not gonna feel like you just nailed it. I'm sorry. I haven't met one person that told me like, oh yeah, it was easy peasy. It was like a test we took in high school, easy A. No, it's gonna feel like the whole time you're failing. And that's what's nerve-wracking.
When I took it, I felt like it was easy and I was gonna pass, but I didn't. I thought
I guess that would be the opposite then, right? Unfortunately.
Right.
So duly noted, if you feel like you're failing, you're gonna pass. If you feel like you're passing, you're gonna fail. So it's a complete mind just, you know what, right? Yeah, so here's the thing. Know your acronyms, because I guarantee you're gonna knock out 50% of the questions. I mean, 50% of the provided. You got a question, I guarantee you're gonna knock out the other 2 possible answers because you know those acronyms don't pertain to that situation they're asking about. All right. So know your acronyms, know your port numbers. All right. You guys should know, especially if you're gonna take security plus, you should have a very maybe not a very strong grasp, but a good like fundamental and basic understanding of firewalls and zones, right? External zone, DMZ zone, internal zone, and it should be like self-explanatory, like internal zone, right? I'm gonna keep like I need to keep secured in that zone, like database servers, right? For like an R&D department of a company. Now, this what kind of tricks people up is the DMZ zone. Generally, DMZ zone, you'll see like file servers or like web servers in there. And you're probably asking me like, what? Okay, web servers probably make sense, right? Because you want people in the external zones, which is everyone else, right? to have access to those, but why file servers? Well, it's like the same thing. You know, you want to download a file. A web server can have files on it. I mean, they could really just be the same. We're talking semantics at this point, but yeah, you guys should have a good understanding of that. We really just know your acronyms, do the practice questions, and honestly, like that test, you really have to like, do not speed through it. Use the full allotted time. I don't care if you think you're done early. Use the full time. Reread the questions. This part of my best advice is you take that test. First, do the performance-based don't do the performance-based questions, the ones that you know you did really good on. And if you struggled on one, just like flag it, move on. And then once you get to the rest of the multiple choice, you either know it or you flag it and move on. Right? Then you could go back to the flags, review them, then double check the ones that you know you got right, and then really start questioning yourself on the ones you flag. And really pay attention to the verbiage, because there may be multiple answers that are technically correct, but only one will be the best for that scenario. Right, Connor?
Yeah, I also have to say the performance-based questions were the easiest part.
For you.
Well, that is saying
One
something.
One of them was easy to me because I knew it from class, but the rest of them I was like, I didn't have and I ended up not having time. Now I remember I flagged questions, my performance-based questions. So when I went back to do it, my time was running out. So I really couldn't focus on it. I was just trying to answer quick.
Yeah, I think I had like maybe 4 minutes left to review the things that I had flagged, and I had flagged like 6 different questions. But yeah, just rereading everything so that the most, like the portion you do get through, you understood the question. Because a lot of times you'll think the question's asking something, but there'll be one key phrase in there that takes it a whole different direction.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I recently just did like a practice question for an exam I'm studying for, where if you didn't read like the first sentence, you would think it was a different answer that was given. It's just, you like Connor said, you really have to pay very, very careful attention. Right?
I know they say that the different, with the 501, I took the 501. So with the 601, it's the computing. Is there a lot of different performance based tests on the 601 that's different than 501?
There's still only 3 performance-based questions.
I would imagine that, I know Connor can't really talk like about the test because CompTIA has ethics and everything, but really though, I would assume it's generally the same. Really, nothing should be different. I mean, they might ask you to set up like if I had to guess, if there's a performance-based question asking you to set up, a wireless access point, you're probably gonna have a new option of like WPA3, right?
Yes.
So maybe study how to set up. Why would you use WPA3?
That's on the 601?
What scenario?
Yeah.
So yeah, if you go on our Discord or the Security Plus channel 2 on Slack, there should be a link to the Security Plus 601 objectives. Or if you just Google Security Plus 601 objectives, you'll get a printout that everything you need to study for by domain, and then the acronyms are at the end.
Say this, the performance-based questions on the CompTIA CertMaster practice, on the actual test on that was way harder than on the actual the 601.
And I hate to say it too, but I feel like Connor would agree. I've talked to other people that agree with this too, is CompTIA's CertMaster materials just suck. They're nothing like the actual exam. I'm just gonna be flat out honest with you guys. They're good to do because it gets you in that right mindset. But I'm gonna tell you right now, if that's the only resource you're using to study from, you're probably not gonna do that well. So that's why I included all those free resources.
Yeah, the exam premium, you just type into Google CompTIA Pass Security Plus, and it'll take you to a site called Exam Premium. They've got 1,400 questions that you can go through, and like 14 performance-based questions. And I think I went through it twice like 3 times.
And did it help?
A lot. Yeah. Yeah.
Like extremely?
I mean, the questions are not verbatim, but they have the same general idea.
Yeah. That's the thing though. Like, okay, I'll be honest with you guys, like, yeah, you get certified, you get certification. That's the first hard part. The second hard part is you guys need to get like the second you get a job and start getting experience, I'm telling you guys, like after the first 2 years, you guys are going to be like head hunted down. Like telling you, you guys are just going to get like LinkedIn hits constantly. There's going to be people like reaching out to you for all sorts of possible job opportunities or offers or whatever, consulting. And especially once you get like those higher level certifications too, not even that, once you just, I mean, especially if you go like try and hack me, I've had like possible offers just because of like my position on try and hack me. I've had people hit me up, you know, for my articles on Hack the Box. You know, showcase your talents on LinkedIn, like seriously, because that's like the first place. If someone could go to your LinkedIn and instead of having to look at a resume, they could literally look at what you showcase. Like you wrote an article on, maybe you wrote an article on a Python script that if you installed it on a Windows-based system, it would get all the passwords. Oh, Connor, you know what's funny? I figured out Sean's password is home Wi-Fi on accident. That's my other employer. So, yeah. So, yeah, you can showcase skills like that. Well, of course I told him.
Okay.
Yeah, I parked outside his house and then I told him. I'm just joking. Oh, can you imagine if I just like hopped on his Wi-Fi outside his house and just.
That'd be funny.
Yeah, I'd probably. He wouldn't fire me, but he'd probably be like.
He'd scold you for sure, bro.
I don't know.
Yeah, you're giving him a free audit, man.
Yeah, I was gonna say, audit. I caught you slipping, man.
It's a free audit.
You're lucky it's I who caught you.
All right.
Caught you slipping. Because you get on someone's Wi-Fi network, man. There's a router back in the day. It's on Darknet Diaries too. There's the only reason I know this information. That is very popular on those, was it ASUS routers or whatever, you know, that gaming company. And they thought it was a really cool feature. They're like, okay, well, we're going to incorporate all these additional features on this router. Because you know your router is like a DHCP server, DNS server, like all in one, like these home routers. They're very lightweight in their functionality as those services. But anyway, they decided to also add like a little FTP server in it and some other stuff. And what ends up happening is the second those routers go online is all of a sudden I think it was like 200,000 plus people globally where they had an FTP port open, and which in itself isn't necessarily a bad thing depending on what the use is. It's okay, it's almost always a bad thing, but you can make FTP secured, right? Like FTPS or SFTP. But in this case, it was open, and the exploit they were doing, because it was an older version of FTP, it allowed anonymous login, which literally was like if you did FTP and then a public IP address, you would get prompted for a login. And literally, if you just typed in the word anonymous and then just hit enter for the password, which you didn't put nothing in, you're in. It was that easy. And now all the files that they're have on their computers or systems that are connected to that router, you have access to. Which is kind of weird to think about.
Yeah. Thank goodness for people who don't want to work hard for money, or else people like us wouldn't have potential jobs.
Yeah, there was another guy too who he would go on to like these role-playing games, and he figured out how to. And I found this one really interesting on Darknet Diaries because personally I don't really know any good uses, or I've never really seen a very good end use case for buffer overflow attacks. But he was capturing packets from a role-playing game, and he would cause a buffer overflow, and basically he would take people's houses in this virtual world and then sell them on eBay for like $10,000. You know, people like, it was like World of Warcraft or whatever, or some other role-playing game where they get to build houses and store all their treasures or whatever. And he's just like, oh yeah, I want this house. And he'll just do a quick little buffer overflow, and somehow, yeah.
Is that a crime? I mean, it's a fake house in a digital world.
Technically,
If you're doing anything inside of a video game, they've got terms of
Yep.
service. So you're breaking terms of service.
I'm sure they probably paid for it. They probably put money into the game to purchase.
I don't.
It sounds like a publisher issue.
It's because you're not. It's not like you're accessing their network or anything. You're literally just. It's like you just found new game functionality.
That's my point. Is it
Yeah.
a crime? I didn't say is it against their terms of service. Is it a crime?
I think you're
Meaning,
right, Ken. I don't
can
think
they
it
be
is.
prosecuted in any criminal court for that action?
No, I don't
Because
think they could. They'd probably just disable your account or
and then you make a new
something
one.
in game. Nothing, no legal reparations.
The only
Probably was a kid.
only way I can see it is if that company maybe had like they're selling houses, virtual houses, and then you're interfering with that. Even then, I don't think that'd be breaking the law. I think maybe they just sue you. That's a good question. Ken.
That is a good question, because technically, if it's something you buy in game with like actual money, then it would be the company's point to reimburse that person who had it taken. It wouldn't be the person who found the loophole to take it.
I mean, technically, you're not doing anything. Like, yeah, you're not hopping on the network. You're not getting into their network. It's data that technically you had possession of, right? Because it had traversed your network. Show me what's illegal. I can't think of anything.
I'm just thinking, I was just thinking, how do you make money? Bending the rules is one way to do it, I guess.
Yeah, a lot of those games that come out, I mean, you could capture the packets, you use like Wireshark, or I think Burp Suite, you can use it too some way. Maybe not Wireshark, because Wireshark doesn't let you like, I think maybe they're using Zap. I don't know if you guys heard of Zap. That's another like, it's like Burp Suite, but it's free. And I think what they're doing is they're seeing the packets coming across, and then they're doing the same thing you could do with Burp Suite, where you could modify the parameters, and they just kept modifying different parameters to see what would happen.
Hey, I was gonna ask, I need some help. I need to figure out how to run Nmap through my my VM. I'm using I'm using Kali Linux, but the thing is though, I need to somehow, I forget what it's called. I need to.
Is your Windows Defender interfering with it?
It's not the Defender, but my other security product is
Bitdefender.
And no, it's not Bitdefender. But I need to figure out. I think I forget if it's putting the NIC on bridge, or I forget what it is on the networking side to kind of bypass that. So that way,
I think it's NAT.
The NAT, right?
Yeah, it's either that, or you can, whatever sort of antivirus software you have, you can add an exclusion to that folder that Nmap's in. I mean that Kali Linux is in, because Nmap would be on that, right?
But it's on my virtual machine though, so we're gonna have to use that virtual NIC's IP address.
Hey,
So how many do we have left? Oh, we're doing well.
yeah. Are you saying you want to scan your home?
I want to scan my own, exactly. I want to scan
okay.
my own, because I don't want to get in trouble, but I want to scan my own network.
So I would
not have the
scan
antivirus block the scan from the computer.
Right. You should. Okay. So first thing you do is with your security, with your antivirus, whatever, you add an exclusion rule to Kali. Okay. And then do that. And then when you go into Kali, run an Nmap scan, but run it, point it, and make sure the network interface card for the virtual one is set to NAT, right?
Right.
And then run an Nmap scan against your router. Preferably, you would run it. So it'd be like, say you're using 192.168.1.1, and most common is, CIDR 24. So do 192.168.1.1 CIDR 24, and that should let you scan the range that's going to include your router and all devices connected to that router.
Okay, I'm going to try that.
Here, I'll put it in the chat.
What are you guys talking about? Router?
So
yeah, I'm trying to scan my own network with a VM. using Nmap, but I keep my security suite keeps blocking me. So that's the issue at hand. And I'm kind of, go ahead.
What are you gonna say, Ken?
No, yeah, that was it. That was it. Just trying to use my VM to scan my network. But of course, my VM's on the same machine and so it's kind of,
The way that I did it is that you gotta use your VM, and let's say you run Linux, you use an external Wi-Fi antenna. And you use an external Wi-Fi antenna to be able to run it, but it needs to have packet injection if you were to do so many type of attacks. So, but it's a little bit tricky to configure if you're using Kali, because you gotta tell Kali what you wanted to use for it.
Yeah, so I usually, when I run mine, I pretty much what I told you, kid, I just have it in NAT mode and I point it towards the router and it'll scan all the devices.
I just worry about messing around too much with my settings because I don't want to leave myself open to any issues. I might do the whole antenna thing and just like we were talking about earlier. Just give me, I have a Raspberry Pi, the 4. Might just do it that way and give me a cheap antenna.
Yeah, honestly, I would recommend just doing that anyway, just because the practice, right?
Yeah, but I wanted to also get experience with the using the VM well, right? Being able to, I guess, segment it from the network, right, and have it not worry about it actually.
So, real quick, guys, I am going to have to hop off. I have a tutoring session at 6 o'clock I have to do for one of my other students over at UCD. Oh, there's Colleen.
Hello.
So, hey, Colleen, I'll just let them know I do have to hop off because my 6 p.m.
Well, you know what? I have so enjoyed listening to you all have a conversation, and I thought, what a great use of your time between the other breakout sessions. So, was it valuable for everybody?
Very much. Yeah, very much so.
Yes.
Dorson.
Awesome.
It was very valuable.
I know. So on our session, I was talking to Nathan about this earlier today, and during our check-in session yesterday, we were talking about study guides and exam prep and things like that, and thought that that Nathan and I should get together and figure out what we need to get you all. So I don't know. I'm hoping you talked about it a little bit.
4,000 practice questions, you'll be good. All right.
Only 4,000?
Just 4,000, not 4,001, not 3,999, just 4,000. You'll be fine. All right, guys.
All right.
All right, ciao.
About 100 a day.
I'm ready to reconvene, and we're going to do a Q&A. So I hope it was beneficial for everybody.
Like I said, it was definitely beneficial. Speaking to the people that I got to speak to, like I enjoyed it.
Awesome.
Definitely recommend how Jonathan from SMUD was saying, go to Try and Hack Me, use Try Not Hack Me, because that's.
I have that up on my web page right now, so I can try to sit there and see how I do.
Yeah, it's really cool because they have different learning paths, like one for if you want to go more on the blue team side, one if you want to go like, pen testing. Just, stay persistent.
All right. Well, Nathan, thank you so much for covering and taking the time to share with everybody. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Thank you everyone for having me.
Thank you, Nathan.
Thank you.
Thank everyone.
Appreciate you, man.
Take care.
All right. So we've completed all of our breakout sessions, and I see we've got our employers back and the rest of our candidates. And I know, we had kind of set the time here for 6 o'clock, but I wanted to just provide sort of this last opportunity for any Q&As or an opportunity If anybody didn't get an opportunity to meet with one of their employers, I think we got everybody to their employers. I hope we did. Shakira's going, no. Well, like I said, this is your opportunity to put some questions into the chat for any of the individual employers that you wanted to connect with, and then utilize us to follow up as well. But overall, like I said, I just if you have any questions, I would recommend put them in the chat, and then we'll just try to moderate a few questions just at the end of this event. So otherwise, I mean, I'm curious about for our employers, if they had any last comments or anything that they wanted to share with the group as well.
I will talk to you later, my man.
I just wanted to say thank you. This was fantastic, Colleen, and thank you to everybody who came into my chat room. Loved it. I put my email address in the chat, and because I know we were having such great conversations and I was getting cut off every time. So if anyone reach out to me, please do so. And I'm happy to continue the conversation.
Yeah, thank you.
Is there a possibility that we can have a list of all these employers' emails so we can reach out to them?
Oh, contact pretty much.
Joelle, that absolutely. What we're going to do is what I'd like to do is, I know there were some PowerPoint presentations that were shared and some additional resources. And so I was going to ask our employer participants if they would be willing to email that information to us so that we could distribute that out to our candidates.
Yeah, Colin, from Josh has already sent it to Gabriel, and his email address is mentioned in the PowerPoint as well. So.
Yeah, and we'll coordinate, SMUD will coordinate with Lizette to get that information to you as well.
Thank you, AJ, appreciate it.
Likewise, we'll do the same.
And I just wanted to throw out there, I think there were a couple people who wanted to talk to SMUD who we just didn't have time for. If you want to connect with me on LinkedIn, I'm always happy to have just short chats with people to just talk about SMUD and the culture and what openings we currently have in cybersecurity.
Yeah, and I just want to throw a plug. There's also a lot of planning in play to process and place jobs. Make jobs postings available at SMUD. I will say, check us out frequently. Some of the opportunities, I think this group of individuals are looking for more entry level. Those positions do come up and they are very competitive. So get your resume in and check our site out frequently. Network with us. Like Laura said, if anything's coming, she will let you know. But definitely enjoyed the opportunity to speak with you. I think most of all the individuals that we spoke to are on the right track to entertain positions within our company. So definitely keep us in mind.
Thank you. That's great news. Great news. Does any of the candidates have any? Just want to take this last opportunity if you had any questions.
I have a quick question, just really quickly, just for any of the companies really that just want to be able to answer. Is there a particular like security, a cloud security certification program or certificate certification like that you as a company would prefer from a candidate? Just out of curiosity, because I have been looking at like AWS and Azure and stuff, and I was wondering if companies are looking for that in the quality of their employees.
You're in luck. I have one of my staff members is my cloud security expert, so maybe he can give you some advice. Jonathan?
Yeah, I mean, I would say honestly, either one of those is a great option to start with. It might be overwhelming to try to do both, like AWS and Azure. Truthfully, between the two, the concepts are nearly identical. They're just called different things, like S3 and Amazon. And, we have different things in Azure. I actually don't know what it's called in Azure, but in Amazon it's S3 buckets and stuff. But yeah, I think either or. I would say like maybe 10 years ago, or 5, 6, AWS for sure, but Azure is kind of popping up. So I don't know. I mean, AWS is still the big guy. So if I were to choose one, I would probably choose AWS.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Good question, Charles. Thank you. Does anybody else have any questions?
Some individuals expressed an interest in contact information for our employers.
Yeah, so what we're going to do is put together a packet of information and then share that out with all of our candidates once we've sort of compiled all of the PowerPoint presentations and my contact information. So we will. So keep an eye on your email, and we'll share that. We'll try to get that all together by let's say Monday, early next week. Like I said, there's a lot of ways to connect with people. Like I said, we've talked about LinkedIn quite a bit, and thank you, Laura. That's we find LinkedIn to be a really good tool for networking. So we encourage them to use it.
Yeah, it's Colleen. Thank you again for having us. We definitely look forward to hear from a lot of you. We have left the email address that you can send in a resume or questions to hr@group1it.com. And want to encourage everyone to feel free to reach out to us. I know that 3 minutes are definitely not quick enough for you to ask all the questions that you want to ask. So we're here for you.
Yeah. Well, like I said, we're going to come to the end here, but I really want to thank everybody for participating today. This was really a great first event for us. The participation was amazing. Thank you to the employers for taking the time to share your information. Again, if any of the candidates want to connect with those employers, you utilize us as a resource, and let us know if you have any questions, or if you need assistance in connecting or finding out more about different opportunities. As we had mentioned before, we had a couple of others. Omnistruct was one of our other presenters, had shared some information. I'll be sure to get that from George and share that with the group, as well as Beacon Hill and Founded Data as well. So we'll be sharing that information and contact information. So with that, again, I just want to say thank you so much for your participation today. And this has been just an amazing event. And don't hesitate to reach out to us if you have questions. All right. So have a lovely rest of your evening.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, everyone.